Well, what do we have here? People that have questions, they go to Facebook and punch in Ask Jeff the Dog Trainer. They go to my free group. They post their question. I make them a live video like this. So if you have questions about training your dog, make sure you join the free group. So check it out. This question says, how do you get your puppy to stop laying on their puppy pad? She has a blanket to lay on and a dog bed in her crate that is open for her to go in. Now, I'm just assuming here that what's going on is that's a puppy pee pad. And we probably don't want her to lay on those, especially if she's peeing on them. So first would be making sure that that puppy is indeed peeing on those pads. And then number two would be something that I call, the place command. And I find that to be a huge one. So anytime I saw that puppy trying to lay on the pads, I'd show her where to lay instead. Now, in the beginning, you might not want to put it very far from the pads. That could be a nightmare. You might want to put the place, whatever that is. It could be a bed. It could be a towel. It could be a rug or brug. That's a bed rug. But whatever it is, you want some sort of identifier to make it easy for your dog to identify that this is the place to be in. So how do we make it the place to be in? Well, we make it fun. And the easiest way to do that is if you have a dog that eats food, then you'd want to feed the food on the place. Now, I have a whole course called Place Command Magic where I go into mega detail on how to create and shape it. And we also teach members how to do it all the time inside of Canine Connect 360. But I want to give you some other ideas here. And here's one right now. As this puppy's licking, if I don't want that to happen, watch. If I just give a touch, I'm sending the signal to the brain, cut it out. Now, if I interrupt enough, you'll see the brain choose something else. And this is how easy it could be, without having to teach a place command, how to get the puppy to not lay on the pee pads. Where every time that puppy tries to go lay on those pee pads, what you're going to do is interrupt. Now, what might that interruption look like? Well, it might be, hey, if you're going to lay down, get off those things. What are you doing? Right? And you might send them out of that area. But you want to give that pup a chance because maybe that pup's got to pee on those pee pads. And we definitely wouldn't want to tell the puppy, don't go on the pads. But if the puppy's looking like it's about to lay down, well, right before the pup lays down and say, hey, what are you doing? And you can interrupt the same way I did here. If it's with just a touch, if it's with the leash, right? But you want to do something, even if it's grabbing the good old collar. This puppy's not wearing a collar. But you can even just scoot their little butts out of there. Get out of here, pup. Now, whenever you collar grab or try to scooch them, just be careful. Those little puppies can be rather nippy. And so you definitely want to do it in a way where you're controlling the neck area as you do it, so that when you go to scooch them, if that little head turned around and they went to give you a nip, that when you're controlling here, that nip wouldn't happen. So when it comes to this whole thing about laying places you don't want them to, this is the exact same concept of how do you get the dog not to lay on the couch or not to jump on the bed, right? But the difference here is, here's a spot the puppy's actually allowed in on the pads, just not to lay on them. We want the puppy to pee on them. So one thing you can consider doing, again, to avoid the whole trying to teach the place command thing, to make it super duper easy, what I would do is close off access to those pee pads, which sounds nuts, by the way, but just hear me out. And then have the puppy go pee on the pee pad. So you're taking the puppy to the pee pads, just like if that puppy wasn't housebroke or you're teaching it how to use the bathroom. And then when the puppy goes, we're going to close off that area for at least however long the puppy can hold it, maybe minus a third, right? So if the puppy holds it 3 hours now, maybe we just do 2 hours. And so we confine that area for at least 2 hours. That way the puppy can't even get in. Puppy has to choose somewhere else to go lay if it's going to lay. But then around that 2 hour mark, I can speak English, folks, but I am better at speaking dog. Then we open up that area to allow the puppy back in to use the pee pads again. And then right after that puppy does, guess what? We're going to shut that area. Puppy goes about its day. Now, once the puppy realizes it can only go in there when you're taking them there. Now it's going to kill that desire to go lay on them. Now, by the time that happens, now when we open up that area for the pup to access again, they really shouldn't be going there to lay down anymore because we've already conditioned the brain that's not possible. These are only for peeing on or pooping on. Hopefully that's making sense. Now, again, there's lots of ways you can go about interrupting this thing. You know, you could use that good old-fashioned shakaroonie can. You see how effective it was there. I mean, he startled a little bit, but that might work for your dog, or like the jar of pennies. You could attempt the whole squirt gun thing, but some dogs don't respond very well to that. But at the end of the day, what does work? Well, you moving the dog out. But what happens when they try to go back in? Well, you move them out again. Just like when this little bugger was licking. We'll see if we can set it up again. He's like, licky, licky. He went for it. I just touched. He's like, all right, let's do it again. And then touch. And this would be just like the puppy running back in to lay on the pads. You would keep scooching that pup off. But eventually, they'll choose something else. And then you love them, and you hug them, and you offer them stuff and see if they'll take it. And then if not, whatever. Okay, you're eating? Good. Yummy? That was a biscuit I had laying around. You got to munch it a little bit. You got to crunch it. You got to use those teeth of yours, man. Yes, you do. I know you have the bite power of a pit bull. You can get through that crunchy treat. Just kidding. You're a cute little bugger. Now, if he goes for the licking again, I'll be right there to interrupt. But that's the idea, is if you try to redirect, right, and use the treat to get the puppy out of the area, it might just be teaching the pup to go in that area, thinking that it leads to a treat. So here I'm interrupting, no treat yet. Interrupting, no treat yet. Interrupting. And sometimes it could be like this for a while, where you just interrupt. But eventually they choose something else. They start to get it. But you just have to be willing to interrupt that thought enough so that it doesn't lead to a repetitive action. All right? But if you interrupt enough, you'll get to where you want to go. So here I interrupt the licking. It's coming again. Interrupt. It's probably coming again. All right. Good. And every time after I get done petting, it might be more licking. Like, okay, Jeff, well, I noticed when I stop licking you, you pet me. So maybe I'll keep licking you to get you to pet me. Ah. Got to time it just right. See that? Uh-oh. He thought about it. He didn't do it, though. And he's considering it and did not do it. Good job, kiddo. So now, here would be where I'd grab a snack because he earned it, right? It wasn't like immediate, they're bad, give snack. So you want to really watch out for that, too, when dealing with this issue. But in general, if you could just interrupt that enough using one of these strategies we discussed, you'll be hitting home runs. Now, in order to teach the place command, really all it is a stay command at a specific spot. So the idea would be you just take your dog there, have them stay. As they're staying, you give them nice rewards, name that place something great. You can cheat a little bit by putting some food down there, telling the dog stay, but the dog, kind of has to know stay. Then you say, okay, go get the snack, right? And leave it's a great way to teach stay, by the way. That's another one that we have for you is the 5-day leave it challenge. That thing really kicks butt as well. If anyone's interested in these, let me know and I can send you a link, right? Now, inside of our Canine Connect 360 group, we meet every week on Zoom and we go deep with people and help answer questions, and we give real-time answers with real-time feedback, which creates real results. So if you're interested in joining Canine Connect 360, I'm going to go ahead and show the link right there. And feel free to check it out, okay? It's pretty awesome. And I'll tell you this, it creates results. So for our members in there that come and have been coming and keep asking questions, we keep answering them, they keep implementing, then they ask more questions, they keep getting more results. Who knew? I have a lady I saw today. I've been working with her for about almost a year now, coming up, a couple months away. I tell you what, her dog's like 99.9% better than every other dog you've seen, and it's huge. It's a giant. I mean, I guess it's not too big. It's 108 pounds of a Leon Burger. And I was telling her today, hey, you know what? I tell people about you and this giant dog of yours because you've done so well training it. Now, that dog was a pretty hard case when I first met that big boy, and he was pretty young then. But as he was developing, we were working on the training, and as he kept progressing, we kept raising the bar on him. Now that guy's pretty gosh darn good. to the point where she can take him in public now, take him to the vet, where neither of those things were possible before because the dog would have pulled her over and got her kicked out of the vets. So it just goes to show you, if you're committed and you're willing to put the work in, you're going to get the results. But this is not one of those things where, you just, oh, Jeff, that sounds good, and then do nothing, because that does nothing for you. Just waste your time. Maybe it's a hair entertaining to some. But if you were to take those things that we discuss, you implement them. Now, if you get stuck, well, guess what? We're coming back next week, and you can be like, hey, here's what happened. Here's what went wrong. What do I do? And then I'll help you. And so will the other members inside the group. So definitely check out Canine Connect 360. Now, just to recap about this situation here, what do we do when the puppy is trying to lay on those pee pads? Well, we just want to interrupt it, and we really don't want to leave that puppy unattended to where the puppy can fall asleep on the pee pads. The biggest trick here is as that puppy starts to fall asleep, you interrupt before the puppy can even lay down. That's going to do you the best. But remember, if you're leaving that area open for that pup to get in and out of, you definitely don't want to try to shoo the pup away, because you might have to pee. Now, outside of that, if you take the puppy to pee, what we can do then is close off that area, or even pick up those pee pads, believe it or not. But now it's saying, hey, this is not an opportunity for you. I like closing it off till the pee pads are still there and the dog's just realizing, okay, this is not time to go lay on pee pads, and they have to choose something else. Then, whatever the amount of time is they can hold it, we're going to cut off a third of it, right? So let's say they can hold it 9 hours. We'd take a third of that off, and after 6 hours, right? So I'm trying to get real clever in my math here. Then we'd take that dog to the pee pad, say, come on, use the bathroom. Then when they did, same thing, we'd shut off that area. Now, most puppies can't hold it that long, and most would think it's cruel to have them hold it that long. So let's work in that 3 hours again. So you would just have them, pee, take the pads away, or again, best case scenario, kind of have them in puppy town or in a gated area, gated community, if you would. And then after that puppy goes out, you shut the little gate, and they can't get in for at least 2 hours. If 3 hours the max they can hold, and then you offer it again. Now, if you offer and they don't go, well, what do we do then? Well, if the puppy lays on the pee pads, it wouldn't be keep the puppy in the gated area to fall asleep on the pee pads. It would be take the puppy out, stay with that puppy, watch it like a hawk, then back to the pee pads, maybe every 15 minutes or so. You'd be the judge of that, right? Use your discretion. And then when the puppy does go, okay, we're shutting it off. Puppy's got freedom again to whatever that looks like for you. Now, the other one that takes a little bit of work, and you kind of have to have a stay command somewhat. Not that you can't teach it with the place command or with, let's say, leave it, but what we'll do is put like a little bed right by that pee pad area. So when the dog tries to go and lay down and we catch the dog, oh, no, over here. Now we're going to do place command. So the dog starts realizing place command is what happens every time it tries to lay down in that area. So eventually one or two things happen. The pup just stays out of that area, or it just goes lays on the place. But it's not going to keep going in there and making that a sin to keep laying on the pee pads, but it's all about you interrupting it, because the behaviors that we tolerate stay there. The ones that are intolerable are the ones that we will create change with, but it takes us changing our own routine and pattern to help our dog change theirs. So at the end of the day, the fastest way to change your dog's behavior is to change your own. And I tell you what, we'll give him another opportunity to lick me and see what happens. Oh, he's going for it. So touch. Okay. I'll pet him because he's not licking. And then I'll stop petting him and see what he does. All right, cool. Now, what's wrong with the licking? Nothing. Nothing at all. Except for if every time you go to pet him, they start licking you. Or if they're licking you, so you pet them. Or if they're coming up to you and just licking you without a request. But if you say something like, kisses, come on, you give me kisses, buddy. Go ahead, kiss, kiss, kiss. Ooh, kiss, kiss, kiss. And then we let them kiss and then say, all right, all done. No, all done. Good, all done. All right. And as long as you have an on-off switch for it, it's great. But when you don't have an on-off switch for stuff, that's when it creates trouble, folks. That's when it creates trouble. And I know some of these little things we're talking about might not make a whole lot of sense now, But I tell you what, I've been helping people with dogs since 2005. And one thing I've discovered along the way, I haven't helped rehab thousands of dogs now. And I tell you what, a good majority of them had severe aggression. Why? Well, when I first started out, I didn't really know what I was doing with the business at all. And so the only clients I would get would come from people who tried getting their dogs trained by others, and those people turned them down and said, your dog's untrainable, put it down. And so then they'd reach out to me as a last hope. And that's actually what developed and shaped my business, because as I helped those people, they became huge fans and would start recommending me everywhere. And till this day, I get recommendations from those people that I've helped. So it's a wonderful thing. And it definitely helps to keep the business alive and help me to keep helping others. It's awesome. So it's a really cool thing. So again, if you're interested at all, definitely check out the Canine Connect 360. That's what the CC 360 stands for, Canine Connect. And we meet each and every week there to answer your questions live, right? Like in real time. And we hop on Zoom and you can turn on your camera, show me your dog, and we'll make stuff happen for you. All right, folks. Well, we'll see if this puppy can tell you bye without trying to lick my hands. Okay, you can kiss now. You can give all the kisses you want. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can kiss, 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 kissy, kiss, kiss. All right. Love you, baby. All right. Talk to everybody later. Have a good one. And then I just have to hit the end button. There it is.